All right, maybe one more thing to talk about is the growing narrative around the yuan, the Petro Yuan, potentially replacing the petrodollar. Iran giving clearance to countries to send oil through the straits as long as they're not, like, strictly speaking, U.S. aligned, I guess, and also as long as they settle in not the dollar, i.e. then the yuan. Now, David, this narrative is certainly growing, but I believe you're a fader of this narrative in the long term. Wondering if you could explain why.
Well, again, I mean, I sound like a broken record, and it's just like I saw this narrative kind of bubble up out of X, or maybe from, like, I don't know, Thursday. And I was just thinking the whole time, like, man, this is weak sauce, right? Like, I don't know if you remember, this yuan talk has been going specifically for much of 2025. And back then it was a lot more vocal and aggressive, and more people believed it. This latest one seems so pathetic and impotent. I was just like, yeah, obviously, it almost feels like the people who saying it, they don't really even believe it, because there didn't seem to be any kind of energy behind it. But in any case, the basic idea is simple on this, and it's so laughable and I think pathetic here. Petro Yuan, right? So what does that mean? It means that China gets in a very basic sense. It means China is able to secure and direct oil around the world, right? Isn't that what it basically means? Like, the petrodollar basically comes down to the fact that the U.S. controls or guarantees the flow of oil around the world, right? Isn't that what that is? Because it's not just what something is settled in. There's more, I think, a fundamental thing about it. It's like a matter of security, right? You are able to control, or control more than anyone else, the flow of oil, and thus you get the privilege of having it settled in your currency. I believe that's kind of how I read the petrodollar. Does anyone think that the yuan, that China is anything but absolutely screwed by this current incident? I haven't seen a single credible person say, you know what, China's going to come out of this better than anyone else, right? The Strait of Hormuz thing, this conflict in the Middle East. Nobody. I haven't heard anyone say anything positive. I mean, seriously, have you, Graham? I'd love to read it, honestly.
Well, honestly, I've seen convincing arguments on X for all sides of the equation.
No, but have you?
I struggle to. There's so much propaganda out there. Yeah. It's really hard to tell, like, what's real right now.
But has there been any? So I have seen things like this Petro Yuan thing, but all you have to do is just then look one layer down. Have you seen anything from anyone? And I'm talking about, like, even like dollar and U.S. haters like Luke Roman. Have they said anything about how China is able to secure the oil or anything like that? Like, this incident shows that China is actually stronger in their oil security. It's laughable, right? Like, I mean, seriously, has anyone said anything like that? Because they're, like, so inept. They're so impotent, China, in this incident. They have no physical, like, in the world can do something about their oil shortage. Japan is way more secure, and obviously they're not that secure in Asia. Japan is the most secure because they actually have a blue water navy. They can send ships over there and do something. They can actually do something over there. China has nothing. They have nothing. So again, this Petro Yuan thing is just like, it's so, I don't know. I just find it laughable. Now again, so that's on a basic level, and then the higher level thing is, okay, maybe they're gonna pay in yuan. But just like with the BRICS stuff and all these things for the past 5 years, here's what you want to look for, Graham. You have a headline, a redacted headline that says, this is going to be settled in yuan. And then 2 months later, everyone's moved on. And they're like, yeah, look, see, the world's ending. It's dollar's done. And then you actually read the trade statements of what that are eventually released. Like 5% or 10% of the oil exchange was done in yuan, right? Or even in the chance that where the whole deal is done in yuan, or in, like, what's it called? Rupees, Indian rupees, whatever the heck it is. It was priced in dollars. It was not priced, right? So who cares?
So it's just
the medium,
it's just a narrative that people are trying to push.
Yeah, I think that's just me, and whatever. I could be very wrong on this, but this to me is a worse narrative than the BRICS for this kind of thing. Like again, anyway. Sorry, I went on a rant there.
All right, so yeah, we've gone through all of the Iran updates and immediate or the big picture macro stuff. Yeah, we are a Bitcoin and crypto podcast here, so let's talk about AI.
That's very important for crypto.
Yeah, so there's been some developments, I guess, in the BitTensor world. You've had some pretty high profile shilling, I guess you could call it. Let's see what's going on here. 2 weeks ago, Jason Calacanis of the All In podcast ran a dedicated episode on This Week in Startups to cover BitTensor TAO. And it highlights the impending need to list subnet tokens on mainstream exchanges like Robinhood. Then we have All In podcast co-host Chamath Palihapitiya shilling BitTensor's subnet 3, aka Templar.
Suspicious.
While sitting right next to NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang on the All In podcast. And this, as you noted, David, sent TAO holders into a frenzy. Anything else to add on this story?
Okay, well, first of all, my knee-jerk reaction to this is, oh no. I don't know if you felt that. Because I don't know about you, Graham. This is a slight side tangent in another rant. I apologize to everybody. But when I got into crypto, when I first got into crypto, and then you're bright-eyed and idealistic, and then you realize everything is a scam and everyone's shilling their bags and everyone was just waiting for exit liquidity in crypto. You see that because it's so blatant and in your face in crypto, right? And then as you kind of learn more about how all these kind of basic structures work, you look at CNBC and CNN and you see like BlackRock CEO get on there or Goldman Sachs CEO get on there and he's talking about this is a really good investment. And then you see like the next day they sell everything that they just shilled and you're like, wait a second, they're doing exactly what these pathetic, lame crypto scammers are doing,
Yeah.
And then you kind of see it everywhere. You see it everywhere. And so like in crypto, I have a rule of thumb. I don't know, you probably have the same thing, is when I listen to a podcast with anybody, it could be people I respect or people I have never heard of, and they shill something, they talk about something, I immediately assume it's like a hard shill, exit liquidity, trying to get out of a position kind of deal, I think it's usually the case, right? Like I think we joked about it on Token Narratives, the Lighter founder / CEO who appeared on every podcast I have ever listened to multiple times in like 2 months. It was like, interesting. Wonder what's going on there. So then when I see these All In people last week, Jason, suddenly randomly start talking about BitTensor, I'm like, oh, okay. And then the next week, this guy do it too. I'm just like, oh hell no, oh god, please no, because I like BitTensor, but like, I mean, come on, this scares the hell out of me. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely, I'm in the same camp as you. You can't trust anyone on a podcast, especially high profile people. You can of course trust the Weekly with Bitcoin.com because we're not movers and shakers in the markets.
We're poor mouth breathers.
All right.
No, but hold on. But here's the problem that I'm torn between, which is I think BitTensor is maybe the best AI crypto project right now. And full disclosure, I have zero BitTensor. I haven't bought any yet. But when I heard that Jason did that last week, I was like, oh man, maybe it's too late. And then when this guy did it this week, I'm like, no, I'm really too late. Like, should I buy it now? Like, seriously, I was thinking like, wow, I don't know. So now I'm probably not going to buy TAO.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's it's a momentum play, right? Like, these people are shilling it, so you can get in and get out real quick. Because as you noted, David, when they do this, when they do their exit liquidity shills, I think the pattern tends to be that it doesn't dump right away. It goes up another like 10, 20%, and then it dumps. And so you might be able to get that 10, 20%.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of kicking myself because you and I and Alex have been off camera talking about BitTensor for I think like a month or more. And I didn't buy any the whole time. I was like, I'm going to wait because the markets are like so risky right now. And then yeah. I mean, so again, it was great to see, I guess, mainstreamish people talking about it, but then it just scares the hell out of me. So I think I'm staying away for the time being.
All right, let's quickly cover two more stories for the week here. One is related to the AI space. So Visa Crypto Labs has introduced Visa CLI, Visa Command Line Interface, and it's a tool designed to let AI agents execute payments directly from the terminal, eliminating the clunky handoff between code and checkout pages. So the system, again, it's in beta, does allow bots, scripts, and automated workflows to pay for services without human intervention. And it uses tokenized Visa credentials embedded within a new machine payments protocol, MPP. So instead of juggling API keys or pre-funded wallets, agents can request a service, authorize payment in line, and receive delivery in a single interaction. So yeah, I think the reason for highlighting this is just further sort of data point that the TradFi rail infrastructure are also, like everyone, trying to find ways to play along with the AI narrative.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like alternative to the, what is it, X40, is it 402?
Yeah, and MasterCard also released something very similar to this a couple of weeks ago. Basically they're just trying to make their infrastructure available to AI agents. And I don't know, like we've been talking about AI agents for over a year, and in the crypto space, the consensus is that they will of course use crypto. But MasterCard and Visa also have a say here. So I just find this quite interesting. They're not rolling over, right? They're doing what they can to make their infrastructure available to the machines.
Yeah. But also the thing, like I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Flood, the X account, Hyperliquid guy. He talked about how there was a TradFi alternative wiring service that was settled, within hours or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, this is awesome. It's so useful. I don't have to wait T plus 2 days or whatever to send decent amounts of money." And then he looked into the guts of the system, and it was just a TradFi rail on one side, or a company on one side in one country, TradFi company in another country, and then USDC rails, right?
Yeah.
So nothing. What I'm saying is, like, these Visa and MasterCard, I don't know what the backend is going to look like, but they could just settle. They could just use the same kind of thing where it's like their infrastructure on either end, and then just the thing that transmits could just be crypto, right?
Yeah. And actually, that sounds like a very similar setup to our last story of the week, which is the SEC greenlighting approval, giving approval for NASDAQ's long-awaited rule change. And this allows tokenized versions of stocks and ETFs to trade alongside traditional shares on the exchange. So this was a proposal first filed in September of last year by NASDAQ and refined over the last few months through multiple amendments. And yeah, basically it enables certain approved market participants to trade blockchain-based representations of securities. Again, it's under a pilot and it's tied to the depository trust company. So tokenized securities will trade on the same order book as their conventional counterparts. They share identical execution, priority, pricing, and trading symbols. And so basically, yeah, it's like just using crypto infrastructure in the background for a certain part of the process. So that's why I said it's kind of similar to what probably what's happening with MasterCard and Visa.
Yeah. I was at the off-chain event in Tokyo last week. I was talking with a gentleman from Franklin Templeton, who's kind of, I forgot what he's, special situations, I think is what his department he was in. Anyway, I really would like to get someone on here or interview Graham about like this RWA kind of stuff, because like this is like an RWA, like a stock, right? Like it's a tokenized stock. RWA could be stable coins is the one we have now. Could be treasuries, could be real estate, could be stocks, could be money market funds. That's what this guy from Franklin Templeton was working on. And I was asking him all these questions of like, okay, I understand it in principle, and I understand that at the very least you'll get like faster settlement, right? Near instant settlement and all these kinds of guarantees. But I was like, but how does it work? Like, it's not composable, right? It can't be composable. Wallet, I can't put it in it has to be like some kind of like special walled garden wallet. And the only people I can send it to are on like whitelists, and you know what I'm talking about? And so,
exactly. So they're just using like permissioned infrastructure in the background and maybe, exactly.
Yeah. I want to be able to take my stock, for example, and then deposit it into an Aave thing, an Aave whatever, and like take a small loan, like use it as collateral, this kind of thing. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's not what's happening here.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, David, that wraps it up for the week. Thanks as usual for your insights, and everyone. Stay safe. Keep your eyes
24
on the market.
hours.
Got
less
than 24 hours to see how the Trump's ultimatum unfolds.
Oh, my God.
All right. Have a great week.